Errol Spence getting drugged for the Terence Crawford loss, but the face of boxing, Canelo Alvarez, has 2 losses. What gives? What's good, everybody? It's your boy, Cardinal Red Sports. Let's talk about it. Alright, y'all, so Errol Spence is getting drugged through the mud for taking a loss to Terence Crawford. I just wanted to give my 772 nickels about what people are saying and break it down for anybody listening.
I believe that Errol Spence Jr. should consider retirement. That's how bad that ass whipping was. I got Teddy Atlas on the phone telling me there should be a commission that doesn't even allow Errol Spence Jr. to fight for at least the next year.
Alright, so why is Errol Spence getting drugged for taking 1 loss to Terence Crawford, a very formidable opponent, what people would say one of the best boxers of today, if not, in some people's mind, the best boxer of today? And why is it that Canelo Alvarez can have 2 losses but still be the face of boxing? I find that to be kind of ironic and funny at the same time. I don't know if it's because of the rhetoric that was getting pushed around Errol Spence and him saying that he was going to break Terence Crawford, or is it because the fight took so long, or is it like a black thing? Is it a black fighter thing? Is that the reason that fans are kind of dragging Errol Spence's name through the mud over 1 loss?
Bro, we've been engineered since the beginning of time, since the slavery days, to hate each other or not show the next nigga how to do something.
Let's talk about Canelo here for a second. Canelo lost to, I believe it was Floyd Mayweather, and I can't remember the second guy's name off the top of my head, but he took a second loss, within the past year. I believe it was about a year ago that he got beat again. And nobody said that his career was over with. Nobody said Canelo Alvarez should retire. Nobody dropped him off the pound-for-pound list. None of these accusations were thrown at Canelo Alvarez after taking a loss or even 2 losses. So I don't understand why Errol Spence is taking so much backlash over this loss.
See, I wasn't going to say nothing because I like black people. But it's time to attack black.
Me personally, I don't think he really cares, because I think Errol Spence is like a realist when it comes to the sport of boxing. As soon as the fight was over with, he had a smile on his face. The first thing publicly people saw him say was, "We got to do this again." And he said that to his son, who was backstage with him after the fight. He said, "You know what, son, I think we need to do this again." He dapped his son up, and he said, "We're going to do it again. We got to run that back." And, I feel the same way, because most fighters in the sport of boxing have a loss. It might be like less than 5%, if it's even 5% of fighters who make it through their entire career without taking a loss. So you meaning to tell me that all 95% of those other fighters, and that's a hell of a lot of fighters, you mean to tell me that they were all garbage because they took a loss? And you gotta put names in there like Iron Mike Tyson. You gotta add names in there like Roy Jones Jr. You gotta add names in there like Sugar Ray Leonard. You gotta add names in there like Muhammad Ali. You mean to tell me all these fighters, all these world-class historical names in the sport of boxing are all trash because they took a loss?
Another flawed policy. I'm gonna punish you.
Man, you ain't got no
back off of me.
Don't call me no Uncle Tom.
That's what you are, Uncle Tom.
Uncle
Back
Tom.
off of me. Back off of me, man.
It really makes no sense. And I don't ever want to get to the point to where I say guys like Canelo Alvarez or Mike Tyson, those guys' names don't need to be, mentioned next to a name like Floyd Mayweather or Terence Crawford at this point in his career, because his career is not over. We don't know what's going to happen when he fights Errol Spence the second time. It might be a completely different fight. We don't know what'll happen if he gets past the second Errol Spence fight and tries to challenge a guy like Canelo Alvarez, and he might possibly get Amir Khan. We don't know. Perhaps Jermell Charlo actually beats Canelo, and he becomes the face of boxing. What then? And what if Jermell Charlo ends up beating the crap out of Terence Crawford? We just don't know. That's kind of the fun of boxing is the unknown and getting to see the best fight the best, win or lose. I think this generation of boxing fans.
I'm gonna be real about it. Niggas base who they listen to on money. Bro, if you got millions of dollars, a nigga listen to you all day. Niggas become full-blown philosophers when they get some money. I done seen niggas literally have homeboys, and because they start winning against some money, they start talking to their homeboys differently. First thing they bring up whenever they having a conversation with their homeboy is how broke they is or how they ain't got shit going on. If you can't show these niggas how to get no money, they don't give a fuck.
Because it's not all sports. You can never say a basketball team is garbage because they took one loss, when pretty much all teams take a loss every year. There are rarely any teams that make it through a season without a loss. Now, I know everybody's going to say, well, that's a team sport. The boxing's an individual sport. Even in MMA, some of the biggest MMA stars in history have all types of losses. These guys get injuries, they take losses. Everybody believes it in MMA or UFC. They believe when a fighter gets injured, it's a real injury. They believe when a fighter takes a loss, he can come back and recover. And they still push that fighter. It's only in boxing. It is only in boxing that your whole career has to be thrown away off of one loss. It's only in boxing that people say that you're not as good as you was yesterday based off a loss.
You know what I'm saying? These niggas, they flip-floppy, they pitching and they catching. Don't be in front of us and acting like a straight-up G, and then you get over here and you letting these boys bust up your back.
Most of this is coming from Terence Crawford fans, and there's a lot of bad blood between Crawford fans and Errol Spence fans. I think if this was any other fighter, nobody would be taking Errol Spence off their pound-for-pound list. Nobody would be saying that he needs to retire. None of this stuff would be getting mentioned if this was any other fighter besides Errol Spence. And it makes me think, well, since Canelo doesn't have to go through this, and other races of fighters, Manny Pacquiao didn't have to go through that, why is it just that black boxers have to be undefeated throughout their entire career? Is this something that we have adapted because of Floyd Mayweather? Is this the Floyd Mayweather effect on black fighters? Because once again, no other race of fighter has to go through this. They don't just throw their favorite fighter away because of one fight, and one loss. If Canelo was tossed out after the Mayweather loss, this was years and years ago, he wouldn't be the face of boxing right now. Who would be the face of boxing? It couldn't be Mayweather. He's no longer fighting, so there's no way he could be the face of boxing. Terence Crawford isn't popular enough to be the face of boxing. Tank Davis don't even got no belts, and most people consider him to be the face of boxing. So, I think it's crazy, and I think it's sad because guys like Gervonta Davis, if they happen to take a loss, now we got to throw away all these accomplishments that this man has proven over the past couple of years, and the fact that he sold all these pay-per-views and he's knocked all these people out. All that has to be thrown away if he possibly takes a loss. And I think that most fans nowadays, they're really not even purist boxing fans. They're in love with one fighter. I love all aspects of boxing. I might like this fighter over that fighter, but I'm never going to let that cloud my judgment when it comes to saying, well, this isn't fair or this is fair, because what's happening to Errol Spence Jr. at the moment is completely unfair to him and his accomplishments. Now, we have to remember one other thing about Errol Spence Jr. He still, as a welterweight, has achieved more than Terence Crawford. He actually went out and had to fight 3 champions to get those 3 belts. Terence Crawford fought 1 champion, Jeff Horn, got 1 belt, and got lucky enough to get an Errol Spence fight, and Errol Spence just happened to have the other 3 belts that Terence Crawford needed to be undisputed. So, without Errol Spence, none of this would even be possible for Terence Crawford. So I don't understand why people want Errol Spence to throw his entire career away off of one loss. And if this man comes back and beats the holy bejesus out of Terence Crawford in the rematch, what are they going to say about Terence Crawford after that? This is why I say don't throw stones when you live in a glass house, because you're just like that. Your whole world could shatter, and you could be the next guy having your name drugged through the mud based off of one loss in your career.
Muhammad Ali paved the way for me to be where I'm at today. But when we talk about record breaking, we also got to talk about Ali lost to a fighter. He lost his world title to a fighter with only 7 fights. So these are the things that we don't look at. We don't only look at him standing for a cause. The name of the game is to hit and not get hit. It's not about taking punishment. And I love Ali, but sitting on the ropes, taking punishment as far as doing a rope-a-dope, that's not cool. The cool thing about my career is this: I retired 49-0 on my own terms without taking any punishment and made smart investments.
Y'all let me know what y'all think about all that down in the comment section below. That like button, comment, a share, a subscribe. Holler at me on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. But you are more than likely to get a response on the tube, so holler at me over there. If you want to collabo, feature a product or your channel on my channel, feel free to hit my Gmail, because it is a flock of cards at gmail.com. And we are live.
Yeah, it's Louis Keys and the Herman, pulling up to the spot in the her van, looking for a bad chick that ain't scared to dance. Get her so wet that she need a new pair of pants. She soggy, only player in the club sipping on sake. Eyes looking like he missed the Miyagi, blowing on bomb trees, flowing on South Beats. How you gonna stop me? It's not an option, I'ma get it poppin'. You can take her shopping, she still let me knocked in. She know I'm just trying to win. She ain't trying to bend, I ain't trying to spin. When she tell a player no, I ain't trying again. I'ma just move on and I'm trying to friend. It's your boy Louis Keys, I'm a shit starter. Young player with a hop like Vince Carter.
Niggas always wanna steal my hop, cause they like my style, wanna steal my hop. Hey, even though them niggas still gon' flop, they can jock my swag, cause it's still my hop. Hey, ain't nobody got a hop like me, ain't nobody make the whole world bop like me. Hey, my wrist word make them stop like freeze, got people overseas tryna hop like me. Hey, I ain't even done yet, new single off the chain, it ain't even done yet. I'm no lie, been there and done that, hot boy in the sky, catch me where the sun at. My hood hops like whoa, sleeves stay pop so my wrist wear show. I sip crisp, piss smoke, got jewelry in my mouth so my spit might glow. They don't want it, what you do, I'm a backyard pimp, plus my hops too smooth. Mic check 1, 2, gotta turn my mic up, cause the boy too cool. Better get your hop right, Mr. Rainbow Bright, switch color stoplight. Ride it like a motorbike, but you can't get the pipe if your hop ain't tight. Niggas always wanna steal my hop, cause they like my style, wanna steal my hop. Hey, even though them niggas still gon' flop, they can jock my swag, cause it's still my hop. Hey, ain't nobody got a hop like me, ain't nobody make the whole world bop like me. Hey, my wrist word make them stop like freeze, got people overseas tryna hop like me. Hey, everybody wanna hop like me, so Speence. Everybody wanna hop like me, so Speence.